What's up again, Buckeye Nation? Floco here. Okay, Florida Cory, for those who don't know. Floco just sounds so goofy, but I like it anyway. I'm going to own it. Floco is here. Not flying solo here with my good friend Dylan Freeman again, at Dylan Freeman VP, the scout. The guy who's been in this business forever, knows coaches, knows players. I always love talking football with him. It's always a blast. I always love having him on the show. Ohio State football here with Scarlet N Great right here on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. Like the video. It helps the algorithm. We want to get 5,000 subscribers before the season. Season's coming up, guys. It's coming up quick. So please help us get to 5,000. We appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving us. We're going to do recruiting today because Dylan loves recruiting. I'm going to be honest with you. With NIL, I don't love recruiting anymore. But we got to talk about it. It's the lifeblood of college football. You got to talk about it. So
these coaches don't like it either.
Yeah, coaches ain't loving it right now. Tony Alford kind of alluded to as much on the Tim May podcast, and I don't blame Tony one bit because Tony unfortunately has been lied to a few times in his tenure in recruiting.
And it's not going to stop, unfortunately.
No, it's not. He knows that. He's not stupid, but he is a phenomenal coach, and we love him. I mean, we're going into recruiting. Dylan, look, we have the #1 class at the moment as we record this. Who knows? Notre Dame might get somebody, by the next day or whatever. But where are we at? About 16, 17 kids right about now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. About a 93 rating from what I understand. We're doing it good, but let's be honest with you. The wide receiver core and the defensive line haul kind of weight the class a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, that tips your scale in your favor drastically. You can tell that, I mean, our rating for our wide receivers is like 94, average of 94, so that's
pretty ridiculous.
It skews the results quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's like we had 3 5-stars coming into this next class that all just like literally how Heartline does it. I don't know. He got the kids to announce one day after another, back to back to back to back. And he's just playing with other teams right now with his recruiter. I think you could arguably say Heartline is the best positioned recruiter in the country right now. He has an argument for himself, doesn't he?
I mean, he does. Yeah, we're actually up to 19 commits.
19 commits. Okay, so he's looking at it right now. See, it shows how much I know. Okay, so before we predict the rest of the class, what number do you see us finishing at? I mean, you were geeked about maybe getting 27 kids, but you're not feeling that anymore.
I think that we would have taken 27, especially when the kid, and we were in on Bowles, Tackett Curtis. There was a few other guys that we were in on that I think that Olas, the lineman, that we would have expanded a few, but a lot of these staffs nowadays are not necessarily feeling going over just because the transfer portal. You can get some of these kids later on down the road that have a bigger impact, especially early on in their career. I mean, when you take them, it'll be early on, as opposed to developing some of these kids that are, say, a 3-star kid. That's who is really hurt. That's who NIL is really hurting in transfer portal. Is these kids that late bloomers and things like that.
Take about 2-3 years to develop. Yeah.
Yeah. That why wait that long?
Well, you can argue transfer portal is actually helping those kids too, because if they don't get on the field at Ohio State, or so they can go to Cincinnati, they can go somewhere else and actually get some playing time and get a chance to get on the field.
Yeah. So I mean, it's helping the smaller schools and these kids, and it's helping. I mean, it's really helping everybody. But I just don't like the process of it, especially going with hopefully 2 free transfers like they're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with giving kids a little bit of freedom here because we really hamstrung them for many years. I mean, you can't make any money. You can't transfer without sitting out a year. I mean, there's some good to that. You want to teach the kid, like, don't just quit and move on. But again, it's like the pendulum always swings way too far, right? It doesn't meet in the middle and become a moderate response. It becomes total freedom whatsoever you want to do. And contracts don't matter anymore. You sign a letter of intent, it's just a piece of paper. Who cares?
And I think our class ends up right around 24 kids.
24,
25. I could see
that's normal for us too, isn't it?
Yeah, and we haven't been taking big classes. We've taken one class over 25 in the last, I think, 5 years. So I mean, that's right where we like to keep it. But we would have taken a few more just because the talent.
Just fit them in there.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys you just can't say no to. And unfortunately, we didn't have a choice to say no to. They said no to us. But hey, that's early on, and I mean, our staff knows what they're doing, and so kind of like linebacker targets, there's some big names, but let's start with them. I think Arvel Reese going into linebacker. I feel like
I like him, by the way. I
do
looked
too.
at his.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he's what position he is yet. They
You
told
think
him
he's a linebacker?
They told him inside linebacker. He's a big kid now.
Or you just not know which linebacker he is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I thought you meant like they're going to switch him to like running back, like Steel Chambers or something.
No, I mean, if he gets big enough, he could play defensive end, kind of like that Leo position.
Oh, okay.
As well. He's a big kid and he's wiry frame, so he still has a lot of room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
But early going into the season, they were only planning on taking 2 kids. Just like I mentioned with Tackett Curtis and Bowles, and then Arvel Reese, you kind of expand your Popo Aguirre. I mean, you kind of expand what number you're going to look at there.
Is this a Jerry Maguire Rod Tidwell situation where he's loving Rod now? So he's loving Arvel Reese now?
Yeah, I mean, they liked him. They would have taken him if he waited till February to sign. You know what I mean?
Wow! So even if we got Tackett and Bowles, they would have still taken Reese.
Yeah, they would have taken Reese.
Well, that's good. I mean, as long as you're not thinking like, well, you lose Frank Cush, now you're loving Rod Tidwell.
No, I mean, I don't think he is on the same level right now as Tackett Curtis or Bowles. But he's a Glenville kid. He's coached by Ginn. You know what I mean? So he's very raw. He just transferred there.
Ginn's not coaching there anymore, is he?
No, it's just the Ginn Academy, and he's
gotcha.
Cleveland, in Cleveland. But he's still heavily involved and everything like that, and he just transferred over there, and he's already improving a lot just in his short time that he's been over there. So I mean, I think that they were going to take him regardless of when it was. I don't think he was choice number 1, but that's not mean he wasn't a take.
Got you. Okay, that's good to know. I mean, that's what fans hate to hear is like kid was never a take until he just got desperate and had to take him. So, but if you like the kid from the beginning, that's a good sign. At least we're not. I mean, yeah, you miss out on Curtis and you miss out on Bowles, but you get a kid you really do like.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that there's a good chance they stand pat. I think they're going to reach out to a couple of guys. Javont Bryant in Florida, out of St. Thomas. He was a linebacker.
We haven't gone there for a while. We haven't dipped in that well for a while.
No, not Arnett was the last one, I'm guessing.
That's a good call. I think it was Arnett.
Yeah, Arnett.
Grimes, but I mean he transferred, so.
But yes, I mean I think, and then we can reach out to Darian Giet. I'm not sure how to say the name. He's out of Texas. Perry Eliano, who's being from Texas, is big on him. He's following his dad. I know that he's been working on his dad, try getting just some inroads with there. And he down to Texas, us, and A&M. So it's not looking great.
Whoever has the biggest bag there, right?
I'm not sure about that. I think it's staying close to home is kind of important to him.
Staying close to home with a big sack of money, yes.
It doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went after a guy named Smaj Burrell that we were in on a while ago that committed to Texas. I think that's kind of one that we may stay in contact with, not necessarily.
What position is he?
Linebacker. He's an inside linebacker, a short, stocky guy. Kind of reminds me of Brian Roll.
There's a name for those Buckeye fans in Tressel years.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think that we might stay in touch with him, but I'm not sure it's anything that's going to be coming today or anything like that. Just I think we're going to stay in touch to try building that relationship and see if Texas and Sark. You never know how they can do this year, and all these kids get excited after 1 year, one bad year for them, and maybe that money dries up.
We'll see. I don't think Texas money will ever dry up. I mean, they have not had a great decade. So they had their one bowl win against a Georgia team who, if you ask any SEC analysts, they didn't want to be there anyway because that's always the excuse. But they have won their. We're back. Well, not really. So we'll see. I don't think Texas money will ever dry up, but it's just a matter of like, did they finally find their coach? They have the talent. Can't argue that they don't have the talent. They're recruiting well. So
haven't they had that though in the last 10 years?
That's what I'm saying. There's no excuse. Yeah. Did they finally find their guy as a coach? I mean, he get revitalized with the Alabama, rehab program, and we'll see. I mean, he tore up Kerry Combs. Does that mean anything? Not really. So, I mean, it's like who wasn't? I'm pretty sure I could have called it off after the game and tore him up, but yeah, exactly. It's just throw the seams. He can't cover the seams anyway. That being said, okay, so linebacker, we still got some names we're looking at. Do you think we're done in the secondary? I mean, Caleb Downs is out there. I know it's trending towards Bama. It's looking like Bama. I mean, I'm not holding out optimistic hope. I know that some of the Buckeye insiders are trying to say, no, it's not over yet. I don't know. When you're down to Bama last minute, very rare do you have those Baron Browning, Von Bell type of wins.
Yeah.
So I got to believe Downs is probably Bama bound. I'm just going to call him to Bama right now. If I'm wrong, awesome. I would love to be wrong on that one.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot of the staff. I mean, some people on the staff feel that around this program think that they can still win this game for him. But
I'm sure they do. Good. I don't want them ever thinking they're out of it.
They have not been informed one way or another whether they're getting him or not.
Well, we see how honest these kids can be all the time. So
yeah, like not including them in your top 5 and picking them. Yeah.
Yeah, and just like, yeah, I'm committed to you guys. Not really.
Yeah, so I think that he is going to Bama as well. People on the Bama side feel he's Bama, and
I think even Georgia feels he's Bama. So
yeah, Rusty said if he had to make a pick, and that Rusty's a pretty darn good one in Georgia. If he had to make a pick, he would go with Bama. Same with Steve. That's why he put it in his crystal ball. He just felt they were going to win this one, but even him, he said 2 days ago that he wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State is the pick, but I don't.
I think Steve's saying that to save face with some of these kids. He's been blowing their. He's been getting called out for blowing their surprise, and I think he's just saying that to be like safe and like, no, it could be Ohio State. It's not. I don't know. I think we all kind of know. Well, that's fine, and go to Bama. I mean, that's a great. I mean, why would you tell a kid not to go to Bama? But the secondary as it stands right now, do you think we stand pat, or are we still looking at other guys?
I have a feeling, and talking to a couple people that we know, that Jaden Bonzu might end up not picking Miami and going to Ohio State.
I hope so. That'd be a great pickup.
I really like the kid. I know some insiders don't like him. Don't feel he's that good, but I mean, you see his offer list.
Bill Green?
Yeah.
No, Bill, if he's not an Ohio kid, Bill Green doesn't like him.
And I think
you know what? I'm not speaking for Dylan here. I don't even dislike Bill. It's like, I mean, I sometimes I read Bill's a scouting. I mean, not his insider stuff, but his scouting stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what you're seeing there. But
I think that I don't think it's a done deal with Ohio State or anything like that. But
no,
it's gonna be. I mean, he's delayed a commitment. He had it. It was all to Miami. It was to Miami. He told everyone to Miami. He told Ohio State staff it was Miami. He told Miami it was.
What
Miami.
happened there?
I'm not saying it's still not Miami. You know what I mean? So
I got you. But you're saying don't count us out yet. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that we're more in that game than people really think.
Okay.
It's not just a video delay to film a commitment. I mean, these kids have no problem announcing, you know what I mean, that they're going to be committed and dropping it later on. So I think our staff has done a great job staying in contact with them. I mean, if you see, Alabama stole Olas when Olas had committed to Miami and told Saban that he was going to Miami.
For those watching, that's an offensive lineman that Ohio State was in on, but didn't even come close to getting. So, anyway, okay. So Bonsu, is there anybody else we might be looking at? If we don't get Bonsu, we're just gonna say we're done. We got our guys.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. There's a few guys. The cornerback from Texas, Javion Trevano, I think his name is. He's I think either a low 5-star or high 4-star from Texas. He's a really good player. He said he's going to visit. He's more of a cornerback.
We could use corners.
I think we stand pat in corner, but he's the kind of guy that you don't say no to.
Yeah.
Visiting, you know what I mean? It's just one of those guys that
a high-rated Texas player you don't say no to.
Don't worry, Michigan feels they're going to get him too. EJ Holland says that.
He's not from Massachusetts or Germany. What is Michigan even looking at him for? So
exactly. And then there's a kid, Dalton Brooks from Texas as well. He's an athlete. Some schools are recruiting him as running back, and some are recruiting him as safety. He said a while ago that he's planning on visiting for the Notre Dame game. Mm-hmm. So there's not been much buzz about him recently. So I'm not sure if that was more of, we thought we were going to get Downs and Bonsu at the time, that it wasn't a need. You know what I mean? So maybe the communication stopped and he's not going to visit. But as of a couple months ago, he was planning on visiting. So I think that's the kind of guy that if you could get him in, he doesn't have a perceived leader per se. You know what I mean? It's the kind of guy that a good official visit, you could be up there to be in the game towards the end. And the last guy that we were in on was Damian Fagan.
Yeah.
The staff just didn't feel that he's going to be an Ohio State caliber player. They could flip him anytime they wanted. But he's a good player. You know what I mean? NC State's a good turning around, but I just didn't feel that with the kind of the body types they already have in Hawkins and Hartford that they needed that kind of, you know what I mean, another long, lean, free-ranging safety. That they just didn't feel like he was good enough to take another guy at that position as far as like free safety, you know. He wasn't like a true strong safety / bandit, whatever you want to call it.
Gotcha.
So different body type. And we already
I got you. So basically we're just stocked at that. We're in our class right now, we're stocked at that position, and he's just
and you had Stokes and then Jansen Dunn. They're all very similar as far as
we all know Stokes is gonna be a player. So
so I mean, it's just kind of they didn't feel he was worth it to take another guy at that position, really.
Okay. Well, okay, quarterback, we're set, right? No, we're not actually set. I'm thinking 24. 23. What's going on with quarterback? We got to take one.
We do. Brock Glenn was our quarterback 2 right now in our mind, and we didn't push for him. And we offered him without having a camp just because that was the only chance we had to get in, hit the game for him. He was not going to consider us at the end, especially when he was already planning to commit to Auburn at the time. He pretty much told us that he wasn't going to come to camp. He needed an offer. And so we did it for him, and we kind of kept him on the back burner. He's not a live or die without, you know what I mean? So
I can't imagine these guys are like wanting to enter this hornet's nest of talent right now. Like, because we aren't getting the top tier 5-star guy. We're going to be going for kind of like our second or B and C plan, I imagine. And it's like, do you really want to?
It appears bad, but I mean, if you really think about it, in about 2 years, that job could be wide open for you. You know, if McCord and Brown,
I don't know, but Riola comes in
as a true freshman. You know what I mean?
If he's that good and this guy is not that good, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that I think there's a chance that it's not that bad of a situation in a couple years. If the quarterback's willing to wait 3 years, say 3 years, you know what I mean?
Imagine telling a player now, hey, just wait 3 years, you know.
It's not, but in Austin Novosad, he's planning on taking 3 visits in the next 10 days, and none to Ohio State. But that's not necessarily indicative of that he's not going to flip here. It's he camped here, and then about a week and a half later, he took his official visit here. You know what I mean?
Okay, he's dotting all of his I's, crossing all the T's.
Yeah, and so now he's going to go to Notre Dame, back to Baylor,
who's got CJ Carr,
and then back to Texas A&M. So these schools are just getting their second visit, so it's not like that. Kind of like I mentioned with the TRA visit, that was twice, so it's not like he's going to not flip to us just because we're not getting a visit here.
Okay.
Staff, I mean, I think a big deal is Tom Loy. I don't love the guy as far as Notre Dame picks, but when he's picking against people, against Notre Dame, he's very good. And he said that his best source thought that Loy, that Novosad was going to go to Ohio State.
And we need somebody.
And I think that I don't personally think that we're going to get him. I don't think it's the quarterback we have yet.
But Tom Loy just said.
Yeah. I think that he's from A&M. He has all that family there.
You know the way this works, right? We're recording this on a Sunday. Tomorrow, that guy's going to flip to Ohio State just because you said that.
Yeah. I think that I liked Glenn when I first watched him more than Novosad, but watching Novosad like at Elite 11 and things like that, it was a drastic difference between the two. And you can only tell so much on tape, and then till they're actually in the same settings, throwing the same receivers. But Novosad, he had really impressed. And then we started contact with JJ Cole. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Cole Academy, punting, kicking. It's like the prestigious academy, like where you get ranked for kicking and place kicking. It's been around for a long time. That's his dad.
That's where I look for quarterbacks, is kicking academies.
But his dad's been around teaching him for a long time. His big kid, he's like 6'6", big athletic kid, and he impressed at the Elite 11 as well. I mean, he was top 5 performer every day. So we're still working on him. I'm not sure I see one that we're recruiting right now necessarily. You know what I mean?
Maybe they go transfer portal.
Got to take a guy like we've had a couple guys like Gunnar Hoke. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Go get Chug back. He's got some eligibility, I'm sure.
I mean, there's worse things than having that. You know what I mean? Right now, that we need
we're pretty good right now. It's hard to convince a kid to come in here and like just compete against all these monsters.
Yeah, so I'm not sure I see one that we're currently in on that we ended up flipping.
It's like we have the Avengers at the quarterback room right now. Let's just come on down, Ultron.
Exactly.
No, I mean I hear you. Okay, a couple more real quick things, and we'll sign off here. Mark Fletcher, do we keep him?
Yeah, I think we keep him. He loves Alfred. He loves Ohio State. He wants to be the guy, which is, I mean, that's why we
right now he is.
Yeah, and I mean when we were in on Justice Hayes and Smothers, the North Carolina running back at the time, and Richard Young, we weren't passing up on Fletcher. You know what I mean?
He looks good on film. I don't know why people are complaining, but
I mean, he's a lot better than he's ranked based on what he's ranking. You watch him; he can catch the ball. He's a big, strong kid, so he can do it all. I don't think we end up with another running back. I think we look at a couple more, but I don't think that we feel a need.
But we let Fletcher know you're the dude. You're our guy. Okay, that's good. Offensive line, I got to finish there because people are just wigging on the offensive line. Do you think we're done there? Do you think we're gonna?
Yeah, I think we're done there.
Wow.
I mean, I think that Monroe Freeling out of South Carolina is a pretty high-end tackle that we're in on. He apparently hasn't been reciprocating the interest much, even though he likes us. You know what I mean? It's just he's not really going and making us feel like that we're welcome, but he's not really doing that for a lot of schools either. So our staff.
So he's just low key, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and he was all done in Notre Dame pretty much, and then until they took they got a couple stud offensive tackles, and that kind of changed his whole perspective on things. So there's a chance that we could get him in for a visit, maybe Notre Dame game.
Is he some guy you just don't pass up? If he says yes, you just say it doesn't matter if you got 4 right now, you go for that 5th.
I think that if he went out of his way to kind of make the effort and wanted to be in, we would take him.
Okay.
But I don't think that we're going to go above and beyond to try pushing for him.
I gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, there you have it, guys. There's a lot of names for you to process and keep up recruiting. I'll be honest with you, Dylan, I can go to a bunch of sites and not just hear all the information you just gave. So I really appreciate you, buddy.
And watch out for Matayo. I think that we're going to land him too.
Oh, defensive end, Matayo. Yeah, boy. Larry Johnson get a great defensive end. That's just unheard of.
He's going to get 3 of them.
Jeez, finally, Larry.
John Walker, Desmond. I don't know. I'm not going to pronounce his name.
Yeah, forget it. Uzi. We'll call him Uzi.
I think we get Matayo as well for him.
Man, we've given Larry 8 years now. Finally, he gets a good defensive one. Jeez, it's been forever.
Yeah,
Larry, you're finally figuring it out, my friend. Finally figuring it out. See, you just let a guy develop, and he'll eventually get it. Anyway, so sorry, guys. I went on too long with that one. Dylan, at Dylan Freeman VP. Hook up with him on Twitter. Great guy. Loves to share information, and he loves to talk football, Buckeye football especially. Huge Buckeye fan. Dylan, we appreciate you being on so much, man. This has been, to me, a hugely informative recruiting show.
Of course, and don't forget, I talked to you about this. Side note, I think we're going to get the basketball commitment August 6th.
Yeah. Scotty Big Middleton. Basketball boom coming, guys. Just keep, I'm not going to say
I'm feeling pretty good about that one.
Dylan knows his stuff.
Balls and Future Cast came in. I was talking to you about that over a week ago, that I felt good about him being a Buckeye, and I still feel that way.
Keep your eyes peeled for a big-time basketball commit. Holtman landing a big one. So, guys, I appreciate you guys. Subscribe to the channel. 5,000 subscribers before the season. Like the video if you like what you saw. Comment below. What do you think about Ohio State recruiting right now? What do you think about the names Dylan just shared with you? Who do you like? Who don't you like? Let us know what you think. As always, guys, goodbye. God bless. And go Bucks.